Flames finish up their road trip in Ottawa with a 5-4 loss. We've got the post-game coverage from that game as well as all the details on the Flames road trip before they head back home to face Montreal this Friday. Welcome back to Hockey Now. I'm Lyndon.
I'm Leroy.
And Flames finish up their road trip here with a game against the Ottawa Senators. Wild game. Unfortunately, they lost 5-4. Before we get to that game, let's talk about the first two games in New York. Played the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders and lost both of them.
Yep.
4-1
points.
and 4-0.
No points at all. Ordio, we'll talk about Hiller a little bit later. Ordio played in the Islanders game and 35 shots, 4 goals.
Which
but
isn't
I didn't think he played too bad.
Yeah, with 35 shots,
still no points.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is 4 goals at the end of the day is unacceptable. And we need our goalies to come up big, we also need our defense to come up big. And that's one thing that, especially in that Islanders game, our defense just kind of fell apart. Lots of just breakdowns and deep in our own zone with our Gio and the Hamilton line just not performing the way they should be.
Well, they had Smead back, and Smead played with Hamilton for the most part of the game, and I think it was better. But I noticed today Hamilton against Ottawa was playing with England. Smead was not in the lineup. And I thought defensively we played not too bad.
Defense is a lot stronger in tonight's game than it was.
Weidman would have been probably the weaker link if there was any weak link. I don't think it was necessarily that bad at all. I would say he was the weaker defenseman tonight. And the other ones looked pretty good. Hamilton got his second goal on a good wrister with a little bit of a flutter. But went past Anderson, but Anderson seemed to stop most after that.
Yeah, it was nice to see Hamilton get that goal, get a little bit of confidence. Second goal as a Calgary Flame, so that's good for him.
Yeah, we'll talk about Hill and the rest of this game, but who else have we got coming up on this road trip? I mean, we got 1 point now. We got to get more points on this road trip.
So this is actually the end of the road trip. We're going back home to face Montreal in Calgary before the Flames head to Edmonton to face off against the Oilers, which that's going to be a game that we need to win, in my opinion, because the way that we got embarrassed by the Oilers was just unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, just hate losing to the Oilers. That's the point blank is...
The main issue
I can handle losing to anybody, but not the Oilers.
The main issue is the Flames need to show up, and they showed up in tonight's game against Ottawa.
Tonight they showed up. I seen the fight, and as Sportsnet had mentioned, Bennett was very good tonight. Hard on the body and fighting through that, and
got his first NHL goal in the regulation.
Yeah.
So that was good to see from him.
And 1 assist, maybe 2. I think it was 2 assists.
Let's
have to look it up.
Let's take a quick look.
While you're doing that, I just want to talk about Hiller a little bit. He got run tonight, and apparently I think it was Weidman pushed Bobby Ryan into him a little bit. So it was one of those bad situation. But what I want to talk about Bobby Ryan, Jonas Hiller is his style. He's been playing the same style for so long. I don't think you're going to change him. And I think the rest of the league knows what they're looking for.
They know how to read him.
He's in his crease. Anywhere in the blue paint, he's down. So he's covering the bottom. But everything over his glove, because he's a right-handed glove, and up top on his stick here, it's all going in and above the shoulders. It's just his style.
He likes to play on his knees.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
He's a tall guy. There's no reason why he shouldn't be standing up.
He's a great guy.
He's standing up. He can cover the whole net. But he does just have that tendency to go down.
Yeah, I got some concerns there.
Bennett did get just 1 assist tonight.
1 assist, okay.
But even through all that, Hiller is injured. We don't know exactly what is going on with him yet. Ordio did come in and play the rest of the game. I think he played pretty solid for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull out the win in the shootout, but at least we get a point going back to Calgary.
Johnny Gaudreau played really good tonight again. I think they played him physically tonight and was hard on him and hard for him.
He had 20 minutes of ice time tonight.
And but he got robbed, and good on Anderson. He had a good glove save there. Otherwise, it would have been 2 points in the bag.
He actually had a dangerous situation. Almost looks like he would have got injured in that one play later.
Yeah, he got an elbow to the back or the back of his head. I hope he's okay.
It was a little slow to get up, came back to it, but you could tell he was a little frustrated that there was no call on that when he went off the ice. But yeah, regardless, the Flames showed up today was the biggest thing because they didn't show up in New York, and that was probably the biggest downfall of this road trip is not showing up in those games. We need to be strong both away and at home. Defensively,
I thought we were a lot better in our end, but the one thing I think we're also missing and noticing is missing Boma and Furland as far as the defensive in our own end. I mean, Boma stops a ton of shots on the power play. So I think we're missing those guys. So hope they get healthy soon.
The big thing that the coaches have been saying is it's not the lack of motivation or the lack of work ethic, because that's there. It's just a small attention to details which are missing. So I think that was much improved in this game, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to pick that up. And going back into Montreal, or in the game against Montreal, they'll be able to keep focusing more on those attention to details and hopefully get a win there and going into next week.
And Brody was back. I played 7 minutes in the first period, and I'm not sure throughout the whole game, but
he had 25 minutes total, so he's back to his normal style.
Yeah, just between him and Hamilton and Giordano jumping up. I mean, Weidman's all our guys other than England. They're all good at jumping in and someone covering for him. I think we're missing that, and we started to see that tonight, so it'll be good. It'll be great.
Yeah, I feel like they're finally starting to kind of get back into the groove that they had at the end of the last season. Unfortunately, it's just they got off to a bit of a rocky start. And
yeah, we got to put some wins together. We got to play some over 500, if not closer to 700, 750.
Yeah, but keep in mind, this is the beginning of the season. We're, 9 games in, not even? There's an 82-game season. There's lots of hockey left, so
even though I don't want to be at the end of the season thinking about these first 2 games, what if, or these first 10 games.
Yes, while these games are very few and in between, we have to make sure that we're getting going here because it's a long season ahead. We need to make sure we're on top. We don't want to run into a situation like we did last year where it's coming down to the second last game to make or break it if we get into the playoffs. So
yeah, Bennett's going. Monahan's been going. Goudreau's been going. Need to see Hudler. I'd really like to see Frolik get going. But like you say, it takes a little bit of time. New city, new team, new teammates, new friends, new environment, new rink. So hopefully turning a corner in the next 10 games.
I'm thinking these next 10 games are probably going to be they're going to be very important because if we don't do well in the next 10 games, I'm thinking we're going to see some major change-ups, which could be both good and bad, but
I think Tree Living's door is going to be closed if they're not doing well in the next 5.
We'll see what goes on.
The phone.
We'll see what happens. And there was already talks about Stamkos trade that kind of got a little squashed. We haven't heard much about it, but you never know what's going to happen. Like we said, it's very early in the season. Anything can happen. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. Overall, much better game tonight against Ottawa. Bennett getting the second star of the evening, picking up his first NHL goal. Flames heading back to Calgary to play Montreal on Friday, Edmonton on Saturday. Of course, we'll be back here with you next Thursday for our first November episode. Crazy to think we're already in November. So yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button because like I said, we post new videos on this channel every single Thursday. And of course, if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps us out. Until then, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya. Have a good day.
Get alive.